Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to make a modified friendship star. So I did do a friendship star tutorial. If you want to go back and watch that, if not, we'll just start here. So I'm starting out with 2 squares. These squares are 6 inches square. Obviously that's what a square is. So they're 6 inches both ways. And I'm going to take the ruler, excuse me, and I'm going to lay it on both corners. You can do these one at a time if you're not as confident or they're not completely even, or if you just don't want to cut 2 at a time. So we're going to lay it there, lay it tight, and just cut. Then we're going to spin it and do the same thing on this side. All right, so now we're going to have 4 triangles. We're going to have 8 triangles, I'm sorry, 4 sets. So now we're going to take them and we're going to sew them just like that. That's a lie. We're going to sew them like this. You can do it however you want. I want the white on the left. So I'm going to take them and I'm going to sew, I'm going to mark them. Because then when I open that up, the white will be on the left. So I'm going to mark all of those and I'm just going to sew 1/4 inch seam allowance right down the side. I'm going to do that and I will be right back. All right, I've done that. Now, if I've done it right, if I've sewn the short end together, where if you lay the long end down, the white will be on the left. That's what I want. Now it don't matter which side you choose, you just have to be consistent with it. If you choose the white on the right, you have to make them all the white on the right for this block. I tried this with my half square triangle trick, but it made them opposite, so I could do it, and I did do it, but I came out with 2 sets, one on one side and one on the other. So this will be my actual star, the big part of my star, and these are 5.5 by 5.5. So we're going to take these just like the other one, but we're just going to cut down one side of these. You just want 4 triangles. So then you're going to take these and you're just going to fold them over. You want to line up your points. The others are going to be a bit bigger, but that's because we cut them bigger on all sides. So it's not a big deal. You just want to line up your points. You'll see how that comes out from underneath it. It's going to do it on all of them. Don't panic. It's what we want. We're going to do that for all of them. Line up your point as best you can. It's no big deal if it's a little off because we're going to trim them down once they're sewn together. You do want that as straight as or as close to flush as possible. There you go. The last one. All right. Maybe. All right, I'm going to go sew these up. We're just going to do a straight line right down through here. So I'm going to go do that and I will be right back. Sewn them all together, chain pieced. You do have to be careful when you're doing these this way that you don't have the corner slip down in. It will feed your machine and your nerves, to be quite honest. So we're just gonna iron them open to the side that doesn't already have the seam in it. And it's okay if you didn't get your, like that one, my corners didn't line up perfectly. That's okay because I'm going to trim them down. And it will in the end. So now we're going to trim them. We're going to go with this line right here, the long one. We're going to line this up. We want it to be 5 inches is what we're going for. So we're going to line up the diagonal line. And the 2.5 inch dot is going to be right there because we want that to be our middle. So then we're just going to cut them off. Well, maybe. And we'll flip it around and do the same thing. The 2.5 is going to line up there. The diagonal is going to line up. And then your 5 inch mark should line up, or your 5 inch square should line up right there on the edge. Same thing here. Just the long one. Line up the 2.5 and the 5s. Not the 5s on this side, the diagonal. Flip them around. And if it doesn't come out right, chop it down to 4.5 inches. Just make your block smaller. I would test one out before I went and made a whole blanket out of it, which is actually what I'm doing here. I'm just testing out a bunch of different ones and doing tutorials for you guys, for anybody who wants to watch them, which is why sometimes I sound a little confused because I'm just trying to work it out. But I eventually get it. And I think you all do too. All right, one more. I'm sorry if my head is in the way of that video. A little bit of fraying there. I really like these curved scissors. I highly recommend them. All right, now diagonal, 2.5, 5, and chop it down to size. Oh, and you know what I didn't do, you guys? I didn't cut my middle square, but that's okay. I can do that with you guys. So we have all those done. Now my middle square, I went out of this fabric because I want it to be the whole thing there. So we're just going to cut. These are little fat quarters I got from Walmart. We're just going to cut 5 inches. I don't iron my fabric before I cut it all the time. So I'm going to slice this there. I'm going to spin it. Line up the 5 and the 5. Slice that off. That'll go in my scraps for my scrappy quilt. Then we're going to lay this out. So you're gonna need this one that is 5 by 5, and then you're also gonna need four white ones that are 5 by 5. And then you're just gonna lay these out, and your white piece is going to be at the top. And if you've done it right, you will have your modified friendship star. So if you didn't watch that video, this is the friendship star. I made two. I made a pink and a purple. And then this is the modified friendship star because it has an extra little petal, we'll call it. So now we're just going to sew our rows together. We're going to sew these two, and these two, and I'll be right back. Sewed all my rows, or all my blocks into rows. I'll iron them out. Whoops. All right, so we're going to iron the top and bottom row to the outside, which is the white. I don't always like doing that, but I like to do the path with least seams. So that's what we're doing. But you feel free to do whatever you want. All right, because then the middle one, if I can figure it out, has no seams in the middle. It's the same one I just did, you guys. Yeah, this is where I'm at. So sorry. Okay, so then we'll lay it out again. And this time, as long as you have your white all along the outside, it should line up no matter what you're doing. So there you have it. Now we'll go ahead and pin. These. Pin at the beginning. And pin at the end. Then we're just gonna flip that open and do the same here. In the interest of saving time, I like to do as much pinning here as possible, and then only have to sew, or not only have to sew, then I can sew straight through instead of having to come back and repin. And I've gotten a little better at that, not catching my fabric underneath. I did that a lot for a while, you guys. I hated it. We're gonna go right there, and then we're gonna pin at the end. All right, and I'm gonna go sew this up, and I will be right back, and we'll see the final product. All right, are we ready for the final product? Let's do this way. I'm gonna fold this way towards the outside. So if you didn't know this, red fabric, when you iron it, when you heat it up, it changes colors. It gets a little darker. Don't panic. It will go back to what it's supposed to be. All right, I like it. That is the modified friendship star. I hope you all like it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please feel free to leave any comments or questions. Don't forget to like and subscribe, or dislike, and whatever you want. And I will see you in the next video. Have a great day.